Hey everyone, NW Order for Life here with the 7 Deadly Sins episode 19 review. This episode was really great, and it talked all about the past between King and Diane, and we got some more information at the end where the plot is, continuing into the next episode. So King loses his memory after being cut down by a human who is the human that Hlebram transforms himself into in the present. Helbram actually killed that human right after King got cut from behind, and Helbram took the identity of that human so as to remember how much he hates humans, so that he can continue in his crusade for killing humans. So we see this really sweet story of this little giant girl. Probably about 12, maybe Diane is. I don't know. And she's, or I guess much older, because she's a giant and she lives a long time. But she has no friends, so she makes these clay guardian kind of friends, whatever. They can only do what she says, and they can't talk, whatever. But she finds King Harlequin in the wilderness or whatever, and she decides to save him and make him the new friend. And because of that, they spend many decades together. They even at one point they find this human or whatever, and he helps them out, and he basically says, here's some soup. Try this soup out, guys. And Harlequin's like, don't trust humans. Humans aren't good. And Diane's like, oh, okay, I don't know. Because Diane wants to be friends with anybody. She's just looking for friendship. Some reason she's not in her clan anymore for whatever reason. I don't really know why. But this human, they go back to this area where they saw that human. And he's an old man, and it's like, wow, I guess for us, a couple of years is like decades, in human time, or is I don't know, it's a long time in human time, because the guy was in his maybe early 30s, or whatever, and 20 years just passed by like that. More than that, it's got to be because he was an old man, right? Maybe he's in his 60s. So yeah, so time passed really quick is what I'm getting at. And that was cool to see that, for them, they were just having fun, playing a game of tag, being friends, and whatever. And so then another scene where we don't know if, how much time has passed. They go to where the old man was, and well, first the old man gave them. He helped Diane because she got sick. She got really sick, so he helped her with some kind of medicine or whatever. And then Diane and King go back to where they saw that old man a while later, and now they think it's him again, but it's a younger version of him because it's his. I think it was his father or grandfather. I forget now. It might have been his grandfather. But this new guy, is either the grandson or the son, and he's got a family. And King explains to Diane what a family is, how humans, enter into marriage to be friends together forever or whatever, because they called Diane, the grandfather told them that Diane and King were like lovebirds. And she was like, what's lovebirds? And so King was trying to explain it to her. And then when he explains, that the a male and a female, stay together and make a bond of marriage and things of that nature, and he calls it love. She says, will you promise to love me and, be with me forever? And he does. And it's a really sweet story between them, because you can't really think of it as her as a child and him as this old fairy king, because they both have this agelessness thing, and through this whole time, King doesn't even have his memories. He doesn't remember that he was the fairy king Harlequin, or that he's supposed to protect the forest or any of that. He just thinks that he's some fairy, and that this is some giant, and we're friends, and he likes her. He likes her more than a friend, and it makes sense. It's nice, and she just she doesn't really know what's going on with the whole love thing, but she just wants to be with him. She wants companionship, and obviously it could become love, right? In the present, it might become love. So anyway, the whole age and agelessness thing between them is a really good concept for getting them together. And finally, King starts to get his memories back. He remembers, as he's just with Diane and sleeping in the cave and wherever they are, hanging out. They come back to him slowly but surely. He remembers he's the fairy king. He goes back to the village where they saw the family, and Helbram is there in the human form, and he explains to King that he killed the human after the human supposedly killed King. He thought that he could kill King, and he explains that those humans tricked him, because earlier in the episode we saw that through King's flashback of memories, that he wouldn't really be able to piece together that he told Helbram and the rest of the fairies that we shouldn't trust humans, and he was very skeptical of humans, just like he was when he was with Diane. And Harlequin didn't. Helbram didn't really listen to him, and Helbram tried to make friends with humans and try to get this helmet for King. And the humans ended up in the guy that he looks like now, the human form. Those humans ended up taking the fairies, ripping off their wings, selling them, and basically made Helbram hate humans altogether. Betrayed Helbram, and so that's his reason for hatred. And for 500 years, he's been killing humans, and he's been killing, or he just killed the entire village that King and Diane were friends with. And so wow, that's a great story, right? That makes sense why Helbram would be so angry at humans for what the fairies did to them and everything like that. And so he's going on this rampage, and he's like, I can't stop killing. And King basically surprises him with a flower through the heart or whatever, supposedly killing him. And because there's a flashback of King saying, or Helbram saying, when something happens to me and I lose control, or something like that, you'll take care of it, or you'll be there for me because you're my best friend. And so King puts his friend out of his misery, does it because he knows Helbram is doing the wrong thing or whatever. And that's supposedly the end of it. Helbram is supposed to be dead there, and he told Diane he was going to come back for her. He wasn't going to go back to the fairy forest, but for whatever reason he decided to erase Diane's memory. He throws a flower in the back of her head, and he knocks her out, and she loses all memory when she wakes up of who King was, or Harlequin. He wasn't King back then; he was Harlequin. He didn't become King until he joined the Seven Deadly Sins. But and then we see Harlequin in cuffs or whatever, and it seems like Meliodas is in the wagon with him. I think Meliodas is a knight escorting Harlequin, the prisoner. So that's pretty much how he probably gets into the Seven Deadly Sins. And Diane, again, she wasn't old, the mature woman Diane that we see now. She was much younger looking, a little girl, probably in her, appearance-wise, early teens, 13, 14, something like that. So it was really cool. I really enjoyed the whole flashback and the exposition to King's background, Diane's background. And then back to the present, Helbram uses Chastevol to the fullest extent of its abilities. It heals Hauser, it heals Gila, and it protects Diane, obviously, and he uses his powers to defeat Helbram. Helbram calls upon all the Holy Knights' powers, and somehow, even though King was struggling before, now he matches him with everything. With the spear, he blocks all the attacks. He, the spinning spear just blocks all his cutting attacks, and then he uses the knives to block it, and it's just really good. Like he completely outmatches Helbram, and then he uses the spear to somehow cut the orb in the castle that's giving Helbram his magic. I don't know how he managed to do that, but he cut through Helbram's shoulder, and somehow it went and cut the orb. So that was really awesome. Helbram falls to the floor, and he's dying, and it seems like this part is really good because Helbram is saying oh, Harlequin, it's great to see you again. Oh, I'm sorry, I ended up getting this from the humans. And it's almost like he reverted back to before he became so full of hatred for humans. Like when he reverted back to a time of innocence, a time where, like, I guess maybe when someone is on the verge of death, that they bring out the best that's in them, maybe like the goodness inside of their heart or something like that. For whatever reason, Helbram just wasn't the evil person while he was laying there dying. He was back to the old Helbram that was King's friend and or Harlequin's friend, and like it just I thought it was a really touching, moving scene. So let me especially know if anybody wants to talk about that, what you guys think about that in the comments below. And then we get another thing with Arthur and Hendrickson fighting, and Hendrickson's kicking Arthur's rear end, and Arthur Hendrickson going in for a really strong like special attack with like black flame or some hell flame, something like that. And Meliodas does a full counter on it and sends it back to Hendrickson, and that's how the episode ends. Elizabeth is captured. Hauser and Gila are told by King that Elizabeth was captured, and that's why they were invading. And that's it. Another fantastic episode. I love this anime adaptation of the Seven Deadly Sins manga. It's so good. It hitting all the right points. The action looks beautifully animated. The characters are great. I'm just really feeling it, really enjoying it. Please tell me what you think about it in the comments below. If you'd like, please rate the video and subscribe for more videos in the future. Thank you, and have a nice night.